Miss Akbab, Mr. Rain's secretary called. They want to meet this evening. Are you available? Tertiz rushed in with a panicked look, while Akbab was busy reviewing a house design for her team's project. Today? Akbab was surprised. Okay, you can confirm it. I'll come with you then. That's all right. You stay here. The young woman turned to the very person she'd been clashing with just yesterday. Rin, grab your bag. Huh? I can go home now. Go home, my foot. We're going to the client meeting. But that means we won't finish until after 6. Yeah, but it's not 6 yet, is it? Move it. Quit stalling. Rin couldn't argue. She wrinkled her nose and packed up, following her boss out the door. The two headed off to meet a very important client at their real estate firm. Good evening, Mr. Rain. Mrs. Mink. Akbab rose to greet the couple with a warm and polite smile. Both Rain and Mink returned it with friendly ease. Good evening, hello. Akbab nudged Rin, who clearly didn't know what to do with herself, not used to sitting in front of clients. The girl stood up and greeted the couple too. I am Akbab from Jinta Architect, and this is Rin, the architect in our team handling your project. Rin, huh? That name sounds familiar. Rin is the owner of the account Rinkitect. Maybe that's where you've heard it, Mr. Rain, Akbab quickly added. Oh. That Rin. Mink spoke up with excitement. And when her husband turned to look at her, she confirmed it. She's the one I showed you, the one whose work I love. Ah, right. Rain nodded, then turned to Rin directly. My wife really likes your style. Mink reached out to shake her hand. Rin was still caught off guard, so Akbab sent an eye signal for her to respond properly. She quickly offered a stiff handshake in return. Please, make yourselves comfortable. We're just waiting on the other team. Other team? Before Akbab could ask, the door to the meeting room opened. The young woman walking in made her chest tighten at once. It was Mind. And right behind her was V, the architect from her team. Good evening, Mr. Rain. Mrs. Mink. Sorry to keep you waiting. No worries at all. Mink and I just arrived ourselves. Please have a seat. The other team from Mindspace took their place across the table. Now Akbab and Mind had to sit face to face. Their eyes met. One offered a friendly smile, while the other's eyes hardened with anger. Though the reaction lasted only a second, it couldn't escape Rin's sharp eyes. This is Mind, and this is Akbab and Rin from Jinta Architect. Not sure if you've met before? We have, Mind replied with a smile. Akbab said nothing. Well, that's good. Then, let's get started. Rain pulled up a photo of an old seaside house on the big screen, then gave his wife a nod to begin. This is my grandmother's house in Rayong. I want to turn it into a vacation home for the two of us. The concept I have in mind is... She gestured for her husband to change the slide, revealing the phrase, "Love makes a home" on the screen. Akbab read the words on the screen and, without meaning to, glanced at the woman sitting opposite her. Memories came rushing back like water bursting through a dam. They didn't last long, maybe only a few seconds, but to her, it felt like she had been thrown back in that naive, happy time. About 10 years ago, in a studio at an architecture prep school, the walls were covered with student work sketches of houses and buildings. In one corner, 22-year-old Mind sat at a drafting table, working on a house plan with her earphones in. A sudden flash came, followed by the sound of a shutter from the Polaroid camera in Akbab's hands. She was just 18 then. Were you taking my picture? Mind looked up from her work and turned to the girl. Oops. Busted. I thought I was being subtle. Akbab laughed, amused with herself. Let's see the picture. Did it come out okay? She handed the photo over. The image was still developing into clarity. Mind looked at it and smiled sweetly. Can I have this one? I'll take another for you. I'm keeping this one. Yeah? Okay then. Mind didn't argue. Instead, She reached out and took the camera from the younger girl's hands. Then, she pulled her in by the waist, leaned in, and planted a kiss on her cheek just as she snapped a selfie of the moment. Akbab froze, caught completely off guard. The bright flash went off, and the memory faded. Seeing Mind again, Akbab felt terrible. She left the meeting at Rain's company with a tense look. "Wait, Akbab." A familiar voice called out. She turned around and saw the leader of the opposing team walking up, stopping right in front of her with a smile. "It's been a long time. How have you been?" Akbab didn't even know how she felt anymore. It was a mixture of anger, resentment, and heartbreak. "You two know each other?" Rin cut in when Akbab let the silence stretch too long, the air growing heavier. "You must be Rin. Of the Instagram account Rinkatect, right?" Mind raised her eyebrows. The girl's face was vaguely familiar.
Yes.
"You know me?" "Of course. Our firm actually wanted to offer you a position, but sadly, you turned us down. I never thought you'd end up working with Jinta." Akbab didn't like the sound of that at all. Her voice came out sharp. Maybe Rin saw that Jinta was a better company, with higher integrity, so she chose us. Still as confident as ever. "I see." Mine gave a compliment, but the listener couldn't tell if it was sincere or just fake.
Of course I am.
"I have full confidence in this company, and in the work we've built with our own hands." She put a special emphasis on the word, work, and that softened Mind's attitude. The smile faded from her face. "I suppose we'll be seeing each other a lot from now on." "I hope not." Akbab cut her off, leaving Mind to press her lips together despite having so much left unsaid. And, of course, Rin noticed all the tension between the two women. Exhaustion brought out something in Akbab, a sudden wave of sympathy. She spoke to the team, who were buried deep in work though it was near closing time. "No need to stay late tonight. If there's nothing urgent, go home and get some rest. We'll start fresh tomorrow." No one moved at first. Everyone was confused, and no one dared to be the first to admit they were dying to go home. But when Akbab repeated it, "Go on. We've all been pushing hard lately. You deserve a good rest," people began packing up like they were afraid the boss would change her mind. In just a few minutes, the office was nearly empty, leaving only Akbab and the new girl. "Everyone's gone. You're not heading out, Grandma?" Rin poked her head into Akbab's office. "I need to finish some reviews first." "You go ahead. See you tomorrow," Akbab said, not even glancing at her. She kept her eyes on the screen, pretending to review the drafts with full focus. Only when she was sure Rin had walked away did she get up and head to the stress relief room, which was empty. A punching bag hung in the center. On the side shelves, boxing gloves in all colors and sizes were arranged, ready for users to pick the perfect fit. Akbab put on a pair of red gloves without wrapping her hands. She stretched a little to loosen up, then came the first jab to the punching bag. After that, she switched it up straight, jab, punch, uppercut, hook, straight. Each hit landed harder and faster, fueled by the fury that flared every time she pictured that face. Mind. This time, the memory didn't taste sweet. It was bitter, like old Herb's tonic that made her stomach twist. Akbab, in a high school uniform, was ringing the doorbell at Mind's house, over and over. It took several minutes before the girl finally came out. No one knew if Mind had hesitated to come out or had simply been searching for an excuse. "How could you do this to me?" Akbab's voice was hoarse in disbelief, eyes glassy with tears. But the girl behind the gate stood completely still, as if there were no feelings left in her at all.
No.
More like there had never been any to begin with. "Answer me. How could you?" Akbab reached between the bars and shoved her by the shoulder, but the older girl didn't even flinch. Her face remained emotionless. "This is the cruel design world. Sometimes you have to do what it takes to survive. But that was my work. I drew it for you. Not for you to submit under your name. No defense. No apology. Not even a hint of sympathy. Akbab kept launching fists at the punching bag until sweat drenched her. She pounded out all her anger and frustration through force, but the bitter pain from being betrayed by the one she trusted most could only be released through tears. Akbab slumped to the floor, hugging her knees. Tears of resentment spilled down her cheeks. What she didn't know was that the girl, who should have gone home long ago, still stood not far away, quietly watching through the crack of the door with concern. Rin didn't interrupt Akbab's private moment. She just quietly returned to her desk and sat down, not wanting to interfere. She figured she'd wait until the other woman came out on her own. But somehow, she ended up falling asleep at her desk. She had no idea how long it had been before a loud shriek startled her awake.
What?
What happened? Who's hurt? Cockroach. Someone. Get it out of here. Akbab was waving her leg wildly, trying to shake something off her pants. She pointed a finger at the enormous, hideous insect. No one knew where it had come from, but if Rin had to guess, it was probably from one of the messy piles scattered around the office. The girl grabbed a sheet of paper, rolled it into a tube, and rushed over, swinging her arm back in preparation to strike the cockroach dead. But before she could launch her blow, the monstrous creature, descendant of a species that had survived hundreds of millions of years, spread its wings and flew higher and higher. And then it dove straight at Akbab, who was still screaming and shutting her eyes tight in a mix of terror and disgust. She couldn't do much other than spin and dodge, frantically trying to escape its flight path. But then, out of nowhere, Rin jumped forward and threw her arms around her like a human shield protecting her from the cockroach. When Akbab opened her eyes, Rin's face was so close that only a breath separated them. No one could tell except the one whose heart was pounding, just how fast it was racing from the sudden closeness. Rin swallowed hard, her throat dry, and pulled back awkwardly. Where did it go? Akbab asked, still more afraid than embarrassed. No idea. The two of them started pretending to search around the office for the bug. But as soon as Rin turned her back, Akbab spotted it. Rin, don't move. It's on your back. What? Akbab grabbed the nearest file folder and crept up behind the younger girl with her quietest, slowest steps. Then she raised the folder and swung with all her might, causing Rin to cry out and arch her back.
Ow.
Were you trying to kill the roach or me? My back's broken. Rin cried. Tragically, Akbab couldn't touch even its wing. The cockroach got away again.